When I decided to build the ShoeZeum, I was really inspired by the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come, I told myself. And I didn't even know who they was. Nike executives, athletes, entertainers, they all came to the ShoeZeum. You know what else comes to the ShoeZeum? Shoes. People email me every day and they tell me about shoes that they've got in their closets, attic, basement, storage lockers, and they ask me if I'm interested in them. And I definitely am. The coolest shoe that I ever got where somebody reached out to me and offered them to me is this shoe right here. It's a vintage sample prototype of a moon shoe, and it was uncovered in Bill Bowerman's backyard. Just last week, somebody reached out to me with another pair of early Nike runners from the 70s, and I said I was definitely interested in them, and they showed up yesterday. Before we get into this new pair of kicks, I want to show you this vintage table that I've set up for you. Check it out. So in the background, we've got a vintage Nike Spikes ad. It was from Runner's World magazine in 1975, and alongside it are my favorite shoes, the Pre-Montreal and a pair of Oregon Waffles. Come close and have a look at this ad. It's amazing. So it breaks down 5 track spikes from the early 70s and then includes the Oregon Waffle down here. Check out these shoes. The Pre-Montreal, the Americas, the Interval, the Canada Quick 4, the Nova, and then of course the Oregon Waffle. This ad is really funny. So let's start here with the Pre-Montreal. Nike's premier racing shoe. Patented suede and swoosh, you gotta love that suede and swoosh part, upper gives a glove-like fit. For use on synthetic tracks only, a favorite among distance runners, $39.95, and if you buy 5 or more, you get 20% off. So $39.95 in 1975. I went on the inflation calculator, and it turns out that that's just over $173 in 2014. And that's kind of crazy because a brand new pair of Air Jordan Retros is $170. So pretty much right on point with what the Pre-Montreal would be, taking inflation into account. As we work our way down, the ad gets even funnier. Check out the bottom right here. So it says, send your order to the athletic department. You would have literally sent them something in the mail to this P.O. box with your order. No collect calls, please. Please add a $1.50 shipping charge for first pair and 75 cents for each additional pair. Quantity limited, please state second choice. Imagine ordering a pair of shoes and then stating your second choice. Out of stock orders promptly refunded. Free Nike brochures available upon request. Man, I wish I could go back in time and order some of those brochures. Air shipment at $1. Outside USA use a money order only and add a $1 extra charge for shipping. Hilarious, right? So, in my wildest dream, I would have all 6 of the shoes on this Nike Spikes ad. And we know I've got the Pre-Montreals, and we know I've got the Oregon Waffles, and now I have another pair of shoes from there. Here it is, the Canada Quick 4. And I just picked this shoe up, and it's amazing. Blue suede upper. I'm going to bring this shoe over, and let's come back to the ad and have a look at this shoe next to the ad. So it says Canada Quick 4. The finest blue suede uppers on a versatile 4-spike plate makes it the all-around shoe for racing and training. Available in sizes 3 through 13. So you know this was like a unisex shoe because there's no men's size 3. And this shoe was just under $23. Buy 5 or more, $18.95. So it's called the Canada Quick 4 because it's just got these 4 spikes on the bottom of the shoe. When you look at the lines on this shoe, it actually really resembles the waffle prototype from Bowerman's yard. Have a look at that waffle prototype. In particular, the stitching on the toe box and then the stitching that goes around the laces. And then as you come back down here to the Canada Quick 4, you're going to see the same thing, that same stitching on the toe box, the stitching that goes around the laces. That can also be found on the Nova and also on a pair of Cortezes. But the shoe has a very similar look and feel to that early prototype. And that makes sense because these shoes were made only up until 1974. And remember, Nike got started in 1972. Another interesting thing about this shoe is that the back doesn't even say Nike at all on there. That's just like the prototype over there. Usually Nikes from the early 70s will say Nike in big, bold capital letters back there. So this shoe being called the Canada Quick 4 got me thinking about international shoes. Well, first off, a lot of the early Nikes from the 70s were named after countries. Some of them are called the Finlands. There's two of those. There's a pair of Americas. Of course, we've got the Canada right here. And then there's shoes that are even named after states and cities. We've got the Oregon Waffle that we looked at earlier. There's a pair of Bostons from the early 70s. I also was thinking about international business and my experiences at business school. I have my MBA, and while I was in business school, we took a class on international business, and they taught us all about how to sell things internationally. And it brings up a great story, a story about the Chevy Nova. And it's actually an urban legend, but it fits here because actually one of the spikes on this ad is called the Nova. So back in the day, Chevy made a car called the Nova. And there's this urban legend that they tried to sell the car in Spanish-speaking countries and nobody bought them. And the reason why is because Nova, translated into Spanish, means it doesn't go or it doesn't work. So imagine here's Chevy selling a car and the name of the car is it doesn't go and it doesn't work. Anyway, back to international business. So in this class, we learned all about blunders about conducting business internationally. And I built this eBay business where I was selling shoes to people in 180 different countries. At the time, there was actually nothing on the internet at all that broke down international size conversions. So if you're in the UK or Europe or in a country that goes by centimeters on their shoes, if you're looking on Nike.com or on eBay, chances are you don't know how to convert the sizes. So I decided to create my own international size conversion chart. I did it on eBay as a guide. When the Nike executives came out and visited me, I told Mark Parker, I said, you guys got to use eBay. Use eBay to auction things off and donate the money to charity. We know they've been doing that, starting with the Air Mag, the Paranorman, the list goes on with that. And I also told them that they can tell the story of Nike through reviews and guides, and also create reviews and guides to help consumers. And I told Mark Parker that there's nothing at all on the web that breaks down international size conversion, so I did it myself. If you Google Nike International Size Conversion Chart, you'll see mine. Actually now it's number 3 because Nike stole my idea and they created their own size conversion chart for men, which is the first one that you'll search on Google, then for women, which is the second one, and then my chart comes up. My chart actually had men, women, and kids on there. And I knew that it helped buyers all over the world that really didn't know what size shoe that they wore. Anyway, it's been a real pleasure walking you through the Canada Quick 4, talking about the early days of Nike, and sharing some of the things that I learned in business school about doing international business.